Good morning everyone. Myself Indranil Mondal, Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department in Ideal Institute of Engineering. Today I am going to deliver another important topic, fuel injection system related to internal combustion engines and automobile engineering. Let's discuss on the topic. Mechanical injection system. First, you have to know the basic introduction of fuel injection system. The fuel injection system is the most vital component in the working of compression ignition engines. The engine performance, that are power output, economy, are greatly dependent on the effectiveness of the fuel injection system. The injection system has to perform the important duty of initiating and controlling the combustion process. Basically, the purpose of carburation and fuel injection is the same, that is preparation of the combustible charge. But in case of carburation, fuel is atomized by processes relying on the airspeed greater than fuel speed at the fuel nozzle, whereas in fuel injection, the fuel speed at the point of delivery is greater than the airspeed to atomize the fuel. In carburetors, as explained earlier, air flowing through a venturi picks up fuel from a nozzle located there. The amount of fuel drawn into the engine depends upon the air velocity in the venturi. But in case of fuel injection system, the amount of fuel delivered into the airstream going to the engine is controlled by a pump which forces the fuel under pressure. When the fuel is injected into the combustion chamber towards the end of the compression stroke, it is atomized into very fine droplets. Those droplets vaporize due to heat transfer from the compressed air and form a fuel-air mixture. Due to continued heat transfer from hot air to the fuel, the temperature reaches a value higher than its self-ignition temperature. This causes the fuel to ignite spontaneously, initiating the combustion process. This is the basic introduction of fuel injection system. What are the main functional requirements of an fuel injection system? Let us discuss. For a proper running and good performance from the engine, there are some requirements that must be made by the ignition system. First, accurate metering of the fuel injected per cycle. This is very critical due to the fact that very small quantities of fuel being handled. Metering errors may cause drastic variation from the desired output. The quantity of the fuel metered should vary to meet changing speed and load requirements of the engine. Timing the injection of the fuel correctly in the cycle so that maximum power is obtained, ensuring fuel economy and clean burning. Proper control of rate of injection so that the desired heat release pattern is achieved during combustion. Next, proper atomization of fuel into very fine droplets. Proper spray pattern to ensure rapid mixing of fuel and air. Uniform distribution of fuel droplets throughout the combustion chamber. To supply equal quantities of metered fuel to all cylinders in case of multi-cylinder engines. No lag during beginning and end of injection, that is to eliminate dribbling of fuel droplets into the cylinders. These are the main functional requirements of an injection system. What are the basic types of fuel injection systems? There are two types of fuel injection systems. First, air injection system, and second, solid injection system. In air injection system, fuel is forced by means of compressed air. Good mixing with higher mean effective pressure. It requires compressor, ability to use high viscosity fuel, not much in use. Second type is solid injection system. In this case, liquid fuel is injected directly into combustion chamber. Solid injection systems can be classified into four types. First, individual pump and nozzle system. Second, unit injected system. Third, common rail system. Fourth, distributor system. Let us discuss one by one. First, air injection system. This is the schematic diagram of air injection system. There is a fuel pump, there is a governor, there is exhaust, there is a fuel valve, there is a cam operating fuel valve, this is the inlet and this is the exhaust, this is the 3-stage compressor, this is the starting bank. So in this case, a fuel pump is driven by the engine itself. That is, a camshaft operates the fuel pump through a cam, and the power required to rotate the camshaft is taken from the main shaft of the engine with the help of gears and discharge a definite quality and quantity of fuel into the injection valve as shown in this figure. The injection valve is mechanically opened and high pressure air drives the fuel charge and some air into the combustion chamber. The amount of fuel delivered is under the control of oil pump suction valve, which is operated by a governor. The air pressure is raised to about 70 bar by a 3-stage compressor providing intercooling. The compressor is also operated by the engine. The high pressure air projects the fuel into the combustion chamber and atomizes it. This type of system is rarely used nowadays in diesel engines. This is all about the air injection system. What are the main components of solid injection system? In case of solid injection system, the liquid fuel is injected directly into the combustion chamber without the aid of compressed air. Hence, it is also called as airless mechanical injection or solid injection system. Solid injection systems can be classified into 4 types that I have already told earlier: individual pump and nozzle system, unit injector system, common rail system, and distributor system. All these systems comprise mainly of these components. First, there is a fuel tank, then filter, plunger feed pump, fine filter, pressure relief valve, fuel pump, and there is an injector. Fuel from the fuel tank first enters the coarse filter, from which is drawn into the plunger feed pump, where the pressure is raised very slightly. Then the fuel enters the fine filter, where all the dust and dirt particles are removed. From the fine filter, the fuel enters the fuel pump, where it is pressurized to about 200 bar and injected into the engine cylinder by means of the fuel injector. Any spill over in the injector is returned to the fine filter. A pressure relief valve is also provided for the safety of the system. The above functions are achieved with the components listed this slide: fuel tank, fuel feed pump, injection pump, governor, injector, and fuel filters. These are the main components of solid injection system. The first subtypes of solid injection system is individual pump and nozzle system. This is the schematic diagram of individual pump and the nozzle system. This differs from the constant pressure injection both in design and operation of the pump and fuel injector. Each injector has a separate pump, both in this figure, and the injector contains a spring-loaded hydraulically operated automatic plunger valve. No separate mechanism is required to operate it. In this system, separate pumps, each depending upon number of cylinders, driven individually, or a single pump having 4 plungers in a common block, may be used. In this case, the single pump is driven by the crankshaft through single camshaft having individual cam for each cylinder. So the arrangement of this individual pump system is given in this figure. All the pumps in one block, 4 plungers in one barrel and common cam shaft. So this is all about individual pump and nozzle system. Next, unit injector system. In this, pump and injector nozzle are combined in one unit. Each cylinder is provided with a unit injector. Fuel is brought up by a low pressure pump and injected by rocker arm actuating the plunger at a given instant. Amount of fuel injected is regulated by the effective stroke of the plunger. Next, common rail system. In this system, there is single high pressure pump which supplies high pressure fuel to a common header, is common rail. The accumulator is connected to different cylinders by separate fuel line through the fuel nozzle. The pressure in the accumulator is maintained constant with the help of pressure relief valve. The fuel is supplied to each cylinder by operating the respective fuel valve with the help of cam mechanism driven by the engine crankshaft. The quantity of fuel injected and the timing of injection are controlled by fuel valve and not by the injection pump. The arrangement of fuel valve, that is metering meter, and fuel nozzle is shown in this figure. This system uses spring-loaded injection valves which open and close by mechanical means. The pressure used in this system ranges between 110 to 300 bar according to the compression ratio used for the engine design. The advantages and disadvantages of the system included. What are the main advantages? First, it fulfills the requirement of either the constant load with variable speed or constant speed with variable load. Only one pump is sufficient for multi-cylinder engine. Variation in pump supply pressure will affect all the cylinders uniformly. The arrangement of the system is very simple and maintenance cost is less. And there are some disadvantages of common rail system, including it is very accurately designed and workmanship is also required. There is tendency to develop leaks in the injection valve. This is all about common rail system. Next, distributor system. This system, like common rail system, employs a single high pressure pump. There is a cam, there is a control rack, metering and pressure pump, distributor, and there is 4 nozzles. The high pressure pump in this system is used for metering and supplied and also compressing the fuel, and the fuel is delivered to the common rotating distributor. The fuel is supplied to each cylinder by the distributor. In every cycle, the injection strokes of the pump are equal to the number of cylinders. The quantity of fuel supplied and timing of fuel supply is done by single plunger, that is main pump. Therefore, equal amount of fuel is supplied to each cylinder and at the same point in the cycle. The function of the distributor is merely to select the cylinder to receive the fuel. The distributor block selects a particular cylinder according to the cam coming in contact with the distributor. The appropriate valve opens just before the beginning of injection and oil is supplied to required cylinders. This is about distributor system. Next, fuel feed pump. It is of spring-loaded plunger type. The plunger is actuated through a push rod from the camshaft. This is a cam, this is the camshaft, this is the plunger, and this is spring. It is of spring-loaded plunger type. The plunger is actuated through a push rod from the camshaft. At the minimum lift position of the cam, the spring force on the plunger creates a suction which causes fuel flow from the main tank into the pump. When the cam is turned to its maximum lift position, the plunger is lifted upwards. At the same time, the inlet valve is closed and the fuel is forced through the outlet valve. When the operating pressure gets released, the plunger return spring ceases to function, resulting in varying of the pumping stroke under varying engine loads according to the quantity of fuel required by the injection pump. Let's discuss on injection pump. The main objective of the fuel injection pump is to deliver accurately metered quantity of fuel under high pressure at the correct instant to the injector fitted on the cylinder. Injection pump of two types. First one is jack type pumps, second one is distributor type pumps. In case of jack type pumps, it consists of a reciprocating plunger inside a barrel. The plunger is driven by a cam. In case of distributor type pumps, this pump has only a single pumping element and the fuel is distributed to each cylinder by means of a rotor. This is a schematic diagram of jack type pumps. This is a barrel, plunger, rack. This is a supply port. This is a spring. This is the passage. It consists of a plunger driven by a cam and tappet mechanisms. The plunger reciprocates in the barrel. It has a rectangular vertical groove which extends from the top to another helical groove. The delivery valve is lifted from its seat due to the pressure of the fuel against the spring force. The outlet passage is connected to the atomizer. When the plunger is at the bottom, its stroke as shown in the figure, the supply and spill ports are uncovered and the oil from the supply tank enters into the barrel of the pump. As the plunger is pushed up by the cam and tappet mechanism, a stage reaches when both supply and spill ports are covered by the plunger, and during further movement of the plunger upward causes the compression of the fuel to a high pressure. Then the pressurized fuel lifts the delivery valve and from its seat and through the outlet passage. It is supplied to the atomizer. As the plunger rises up still further, at a particular moment, the helical groove connects with the steel port and the fuel in the upper part of the plunger through the vertical groove. This causes sudden pressure drop of the fuel and delivery valve falls back on its seat under the force of springs. This causes the sudden cutoff of the fuel to the atomizer. The operation is repeated during each cycle. The duration of the fuel delivery during each stroke of the plunger is more or less according to the time at which the spill port is made to communicate with the high pressure fuel in the barrel. This depends upon the position of the helical groove, which can be changed by rotating the plunger by a rack controlled by the governor. This is all about jack type pumps. Next, discuss on actual method of controlling quantity of fuel injected in a CI engine. From this figure you can understand what is happening. This is the sketch of a typical plunger. Okay, near the port A, fuel is always available under relatively low pressure. While the axial movement of the plunger is through camshaft, its rotational movement about its axis by means of rack D. Port B is the orifice through which fuel is delivered to the injector. At this stage, it is closed by means of a spring-loaded check valve. When the plunger is below port A, the fuel gets filled in the barrel above it. As the plunger rises and closes the port A, the fuel will flow out through port C. This is because it has to overcome the spring force of the check valve in order to flow through port B. Hence, it takes the easier way out via port C. At this stage, rack rotates the plunger and as a result port C also closes. The only escape route for the fuel is past the check valve through orifice B to the injector. This is the beginning of injection and also the effective stroke of the plunger. The injection continues till the helical indentation on the plunger uncovers port C. Now the fuel will take the easy way out through C and the check valve will close the orifice B. The fuel injection stops and effective strokes ends. Hence the effective stroke of the plunger is the axial distance transverse between the time port A is closed off and the time port A is uncovered. E and F, the plunger is rotated to the piston zone. The same sequence of events occur, but in this case port C is uncovered sooner, hence the effective stroke is shortened. This is all about the actual method of controlling quantity of fuel injected in a compressed ignition engine. Next, discuss on distributor type pump. This pump has a single pumping element and the fuel is distributed to each cylinder by means of a rotors. There is a central longitudinal passage in the rotor and also two sets of radial holes, each equal to the number of engine cylinders, located at different heights. One set is connected to pump inlet via central passage, whereas the second set connected to delivery lines leading to injectors of the various cylinders. The fuel is drawn into the central rotor passage from the inlet port when the pump plunger move away from each other. However, the radial delivery passage in the rotor coincides with the delivery port for any cylinder. The fuel is delivered to each cylinder in turn. Main advantages of this type of pump lies in its small size and its light weight. A schematic diagram of Rusa master distributor pump is shown in this figure. Next, injection pump governor. There are two types of governors are there. First, mechanical governor and second one is pneumatic governor. This is a schematic diagram of mechanical governor. There is a sleeve, governor, shaft, lever to operate control rack, fulcrum, lever, centrifugal weight and spring. The arrangement of the components of mechanical governor is shown in this figure. When the engine speed tends to exceed as load on engine decreases, the weights shown in this figure fly apart due to centrifugal force. This causes the bell crank levers to raise the sleeve and operate the control lever in downward direction. This operates the rack on the fuel pump in the direction which reduces the amount of fuel supplied. The reverse happens when the load on the engine increases. This is about mechanical governor. Next, pneumatic governor. The amount of vacuum applied to the diaphragm is controlled by the accelerator pedal through the butterfly valve in the venturi. There is a diaphragm unit. There is a idling spring adjuster, diaphragm spring and diaphragm. There is a fuel to injector, control rack. There is a vacuum pipe. This is the venturi unit. This is the air filter. This is the accelerator pedal and venturi control unit. So the amount of vacuum applied to the diaphragm is controlled by the accelerator pedal through the butterfly valve in the venturi. The diaphragm is connected to the rack. Therefore, the piston or position of accelerator pedal also determines the position of the rack and hence the amount of fuel injected. This type of control is used to increase the speed of the engine. In both cases, the control is effected by changing the fuel quantity without changing the quantity of air. The air-fuel ratio supplied changes according to load. Therefore, this type of governing is known as quality governing. This is all about pneumatic governor. Next, fuel injector. Quick and complete combustion is ensured by a well-designed fuel injector. Fuel injector assembly consists of nozzle and or needle valve, compression spring, nozzle and injector body. The injector assembly consists of these four parts. This is a cross-sectional view of typical fuel injector. There is a nozzle body, nozzle valve, nozzle cap, injector body, fuel passage, fuel inlet, leak of spindle, spring, adjusting screw, lock nut and end cap. When the fuel is supplied by the injection pump, it exerts sufficient force against the spring to lift the nozzle valve. Fuel is sprayed into the combustion chamber in a finely atomized particles. After fuel from the delivery pump gets exhausted, the spring pressure pushes the nozzle valve back on its seat. For proper lubrication between nozzle valve and its guide, a small quantity of fuel is allowed to leak through the clearance between them and then drain back to fuel tank through leak of connection. The spring tension and hence the valve opening pressure is controlled by adjusting the screw provided at the top. Nozzle. It is the part of an injector through which the liquid fuel is sprayed into combustion chamber. Nozzle should fulfill the following functions. First, atomization. This is a very important function since it is the first phase in obtaining proper mixing of the fuel and air in the combustion chamber. Next, distribution of fuel. Distribution of fuel to the required areas within the combustion chamber. Factors affecting these are of injection pressure. Higher the injection pressure, better the dispersion and penetration of the fuel into all the desired locations in combustion chamber. Density of air in the cylinder also affect distribution of fuel. How? If the density of compressed air in the combustion chamber is high, then the resistance to the movement of the droplets is higher and dispersion of the fuel is better. Another factor that affect distribution of fuel is physical properties of fuel. The properties like self-ignition temperature, vapor pressure, viscosity, etc. play an important role in the distribution of fuel. Another factor is prevention of impingement on walls. Prevention of the fuel from impinging directly on the walls of combustion chamber or piston. This is necessary because fuel striking the walls decomposes and produces carbon deposits. This causes smoky exhaust as well as increase in fuel consumption. Last, mixing. Mixing the fuel and air in case of non-turbulent type of combustion chamber should be taken care of by the nozzle. There are some types of nozzles: pintle nozzle, single hole nozzle, multi-hole nozzle and Pintex nozzle. In pintle nozzle, this is a pintle nozzle, this is a single hole nozzle, this is a multi-hole nozzle and this is a Pintex nozzle. In case of pintle nozzle, the steam of the nozzle valve is extended to form a pin or pintle which produces through the mouth of the nozzle. The size and shape of the pintle can be varied according to the requirement. It provides a spray operating at low injection pressure of 8 to 10 megapascal. The spray cone angle is generally 60 degree. Advantages of this nozzle is that it avoids weak injection and dribbling. It prevents the carbon deposition on the nozzle valve. Next, single hole nozzle. At the center of the nozzle body, there is a single hole which is closed by the nozzle valve. The size of the hole is usually of the order of 0.2 mm. Injection pressure is of order of 8 to 10 megapascal and spray cone angle is about 15 degree. Major disadvantages with such nozzle is that they tend to dribble. Besides, their spray angle is too narrow to facilitate good mixing unless higher velocities are used. Multi-hole nozzle. It consists of a number of holes, bores in the tip of the nozzle. The number of holes varies from 4 to 18 and the size from 35 to 200 micron. The hole angle may be from 20 degree upwards. These nozzles operate at high injection pressures of the orders of 18 megapascal. There are some advantages that lies in the ability to distribute the fuel properly even with lower air motion available in open combustion chambers. There is a Pintex nozzle. There is an auxiliary hole, nozzle body and nozzle valve. It is a type of pintle nozzle which has an auxiliary hole drilled in the nozzle body. It injects a small amount of fuel through this additional hole in the upstream direction slightly before the main injection. The needle valve does not lift fully at low speeds and most of the fuel is injected through the auxiliary hole. Main advantages of this nozzle is better cold starting performance. A major drawback of this nozzle is that its injection characteristics are poorer than the multi-hole nozzle. Let's discuss on spray formation. The various phases of spray formation as the fuel is injected through the nozzle are shown in this figure. At the start of the fuel injection, the pressure differences across the orifice is low. Therefore, single droplets are formed as this figure. As the pressure difference increases, the following process occur one after the other. First, from this figure B, a stream of fuel emerges from the nozzle. From figure C, the stream encounters aerodynamic resistance from the dense air present in the combustion chamber, that is 12 to 14 times the ambient pressure, and breaks into spray, say at a distance of L3. The distance of this point where this event occurs from the orifice is called as breakup distance. With further and further increase in the pressure difference, the breakup distance decreases and the cone angle increases until the apex of the cone practically coincides with the orifice. You can understand from these figures D, E and F. This is the schematic diagram from which you can gain knowledge about spray formation. At the exit of the orifice, the fuel jet velocity Vf is of the order of 400 meter per second. It is given by the following equation, that is equal to coefficient of discharge root over of 2 P I suffix ing, that means fuel pressure at the inlet to injector in Newton per meter square, minus P suffix cylinder pressure of charge inside the cylinder in Newton per meter square, and by rho F, that means density of fuel in kg per meter cube. Quantity of fuel and size of nozzle orifice. The velocity of the fuel through nozzle orifice in terms of pressure difference between injection and cylinder pressure Vf will be equal to CD root over of 2gh. CD is the coefficient of discharge. The volume of fuel injected per second, Q, will be equal to area of all orifice multiply with fuel jet velocity multiply with time for one injection multiply with number of injections per second for 1 minute. That is formulated as Q equal to pi by 4 d square into small n into V suffix f into theta by 360 into 60 by capital N into Ni by 60. Ni is the RPM itself, and Ni for 4-stroke engine will be equal to RPM by 2, and for a 2-stroke engine Ni is RPM itself and d is the diameter of one orifice in meter. Small n is the number of orifices. Theta is the duration of injection in crank angle degrees. Ni is the number of injections per minute. Usually the rate of fuel injection is expressed in millimeter cube per degree. Crank angle per liter cylinder. Displacement volume to normalize the effect of engine size. So the rate of fuel injected per degrees of crankshaft rotation is a function of injector camshaft velocity, the diameter of the injector plunger, and the flow area of the tip orifices. Increasing the rate of injection decreases the duration of injection for a given fuel input and subsequently introduces a change in injecting timing. A higher rate of injection may permit injection timing to be retarded from optimum value. This helps in maintaining fuel economy without excessive smoke emission. However, an increase in injection rate requires an increased injection pressure and increases the load on the injector push rod and the cam. This may affect the durability of the engine. This slide I have told earlier. This is all about fuel injection system. If you like this video, please share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.